Google's French serial killers. Then he shows me pictures. There he was. I was shown a photo of serial killer Patrice Allegre. It was him 11 years ago. I remember, before waking up sleeping on the grass on the side of the road in a daze.
What? Whoa!
My head was throbbing. I had to still be somewhat intoxicated.
What the heck?
Then he said, "What color underwear are you wearing?"
Hey!
I put his hand on my knee and started rubbing my knee.
Hey!
I moved it away and told him,
Hey, yo! What is good, you guys? My name is ReboundLeader. Welcome back with another video. 3 disturbing true hitchhiking horror stories by Mr. Nightmare. Why the heck is anybody even hitchhiking? Why is this still a thing, bro? People still hitchhike till this day. I know it says to be nice to other people, love your neighbor as you love yourself, but I will never trust anybody that's hitchhiking, because that person that is trying to catch a ride could be the same person trying to kill you.
Police! Police! Help! Police!
out of the dark forest, I was hitchhiking from Leipzig, Germany to Paris. He was a French man, a somewhat dirty and unshaven driver, small and shabby.
Right
He
to
agreed
it.
to give me a ride in his car.
Right to it.
A ride with him
Okay.
to Paris, where I needed to pick up my paintings from an exhibition I had there.
All right.
It was October. I was 29 years old, and he seemed about the same age. He spoke broken English. I spoke no French at all.
Oh.
I really didn't have a clue who this guy was. The day was mild, sunny, and blue. It was a warm and comfortable French day. A great day to hitchhike.
Oh, yeah.
It was around
A great day to get body too. A great day to get whipped into shape. A great day to use common sense as well.
4:30 p.m. when I met
I'm
him
not
at a gas
trusting
station
that.
somewhere in France.
What the heck?
I hopped into his little old car, happy to have scored a ride. We drove off to Paris on the main highway.
You are the hitchhiker. Am I getting this right? Oh boy, here we go.
After some small talk, mainly about where I'm from, he reached over my lap and opened the glove compartment. He pulled out what looked like a bunch of passports. They were passports. He handed me all 4. The first pretty girl was his girlfriend who died falling off the back of his motorcycle, he said.
Wow.
The second, his girlfriend who died in a car crash.
How many
he told
girl?
me. The third girlfriend died from
Hey,
a brain tumor.
Are you
before it
bodying
fell
these
off of a
people?
horse. He said, "I'm such an unlucky man." I agreed he was unlucky. The uneasiness started then, and only grew as the miles rolled on.
That's
He
crazy.
was in possession of 4 young women's passports. Soon after showing me the passports, the man said he wanted to take a shortcut to Paris.
Nah.
It wasn't really a question to me.
Nope.
Excellent, I thought. Get me out of here ASAP.
What,
I
bro?
assumed we would cut through some charming French villages on secondary roads, past houses and farms.
Don't you have your phone on you so you can check to see that he's actually going in that direction? Like Google Maps or something? Like what the heck?
But no. Instead, we turned off onto an implausible dirt road off the main highway.
Bro.
Uh-oh, I thought. Not good. But I kept silent. Why we keep quiet is a mystery, perhaps
Yeah.
because of our dumb manners. At first, the road was out in the open, through a field. We rolled over the typically vivid green French hillside until
Bro,
we finally
this is not a
reached the
shortcut
oncoming
to
heavy
Paris.
woods. The road narrowed. It grew instantly darker as we entered the forest road and drove in.
Heck no.
The interior of the forest was creepy. The woods looked like the perfect place to hide something. I still found the woods beautiful. Beautiful and dreadful. It was at this point that my French driver shouted in broken English, "I don't want to speak English anymore."
Wow.
This was definitely not a request.
That's crazy.
Then silence. Uncomfortable silence in the darkening forest.
These Frenchies,
I
bro.
started to feel a small trickle of adrenaline in my body.
They're too prideful anyways, bro. You can speak English to them, they'll speak French to you. You say, "I don't understand," they'll still speak French to you, knowing full well that you cannot speak French, bro. These French people, bro, are too prideful, and they're racist. Bro, you go to Montreal, them racist people over there, man, they're crazy. You go to Paris, come on, man. There are some weirdos over there.
My fight or flight instinct
Not all,
was
but
warming
some.
up.
You feel me?
Communication had now officially ended.
You don't speak French?
Just silence. I pondered this because I
They'll
knew
think
I would
you're-
surely have questions as we would get deeper and deeper into the thickening woods. I knew, though, that I wouldn't ask anything. Nothing. It was now 5 p.m. and the sun was fading fast. The woods grew darker. The driver seemed so tense, and I could tell he was in deep thought. I noticed his lips moving almost imperceptibly. It was rigid, snake-like. I myself had moved my hand to the car door handle, a movement I'm sure could not have been missed. The car was slowing down. I did not say a word. Was I gonna die now? Did he have a gun?
Wow.
I looked.
Like he knew.
All these questions ran through my head.
He ready.
My life was now surreal.
This is crazy,
This was
bro.
not my plan. Maybe I communicated with my captor in some secret way. Maybe I gave off some kind of male pheromones perceptible only to men facing off. I possessed my own rage issues, and I was not going down without a fight. That I knew. There would be no begging or cries of mercy from me.
Wow.
Not to this fucker.
Wow.
I also had my own secret storeroom of crazy. I was big and strong at that time. Road tough through my travels, and there's no substitute for my nothing to lose
he was
stare.
ready to fight
That is
to
all I
the
gave
death.
him. Something very primitive transpired between us then, I think.
That's crazy.
Rather quickly, in a matter of seconds. It's a sort of inner calculus as to whether one can overcome, stop, or kill the other guy or not. In all its peripheral considerations. Not the least blood, gore, strength, and alas, dying. I don't think these calculations are the same when the victim is small and scared, begging and weak.
Yeah.
I think between those two uneven people, it just becomes bloodlust, power, panic, scratching, and doom.
Bruh, this dude is bro. He is analyzing this situation like this. That is crazy, bro. He's not only saying he's crazy, but he say he's big, he's tough, he knows how to handle himself, and in a situation like this, you be thinking all sorts of thoughts. I love this, bro. How is this gonna end?
5:12 p.m. The car was now moving really, really, really slow.
Wow.
I entered a very strange and new place in myself. I was transformed with very little preparation. Transformed into a potential killer myself.
Ooh.
Maybe my chauffeur could read my mind or my body
Bro,
language.
this man needs to make a book. He needs to make a short story on this experience, which we're hearing right now. But this is crazy. Like he's depicting and talking about every detail, every emotion, everything he's experiencing. This is funny as heck.
Or sense my intent, or see my hand on his dirty door
But
handle.
he hasn't talked about God
The
once,
moment of
bro.
truth.
Where's God in all of
We
this, bro?
suddenly started to speed up.
Where's the common
God
sense that
held
God has
those
given you,
woods.
bro? Come on.
Odd how these memories have come back to me as I write this. Some memories I'm not certain of, like, did he say he had to hit one girlfriend with a shovel because she attacked him and would not be quiet and leave him in peace?
Hey,
Did
yo.
he really explain the two backpacks on the back seat? Did I
Hey.
not hear that on purpose?
Wow.
Did I later imagine those words? Did I see more passports in his glove box than the 4 he pulled out? Why didn't I say stop the car after the passport show? The road began to widen, and we emerged out of the dark forest.
Great
with the
question.
setting sun, dark red and orange in the sky.
Yeah.
I could hear and then see the highway now. I saw tiny houses across the highway. I had no idea where exactly I was. The Frenchman asked me if I wanted to spend the night at his house.
Nope.
We could eat dinner together.
Paris.
Quick film of his filthy torture chamber basement ran through my head.
Ooh.
I politely said no. My first words spoken since the order not to speak English.
Wow.
I sincerely think that had I broken that command and blabbered something in the woods, my story might have had a different ending. It all came down to silence. I can be silent, sometimes one needs to be, to contemplate the next move. Maybe one of the faces in the passports may not have been able to spring over her nature and started to talk or beg with fear. Would that have fed the killer's darkness, his evil? Who really knows? I got out at the side of the highway, and with night settling in, I watched him drive away.
Wow.
I never went to the police because I didn't speak French, and I thought maybe my imagination was just too damn active.
That's
I
crazy.
yelled something into the night sky, just wondering what the hell just happened. It was fully dark now. I was now exhausted after that little adventure, and I
That's
soon fell
crazy.
asleep on the side of the highway. The next morning, I was worried what the new day would bring. I looked at my hands. Am I still alive? Jump ahead 20 years, and I'm teaching a German business student English in a cafe on a boulevard in Leipzig.
This is crazy. This is a crazy. What? You had to sleep in the pitch black highway. You had to sleep there. Oh my, bro. This dude, I don't know what to say, bro. This is a story I'm shocked, because usually these stories are like stupid people. Obviously, he probably should never went inside that car, but other than that, he felt fully prepared to die and was laying down every outcome of what could happen. Even talking about oh, did I actually miss something, or was there something else? Why was there 2 backpacks in the back of the car? Bro, come on, bro. He needs to write his own book on this.
Leipzig, Germany. For whatever reason, we discuss this topic, hitchhiking, and I tell him my story.
Wow.
My student promptly whips out his smartphone and Googles French serial killers. Then he shows me pictures. There he was. I was shown a photo of serial killer Patrice Allegre. It was him 11 years ago, me and him on that strange ride. I had never forgotten his face. At that time, 1990, there was a reported serial killer leaving bodies of girls on the French roadsides and highways.
Oh my god, bro, look at his haircut. What the heck is this? Not only is he a psychopathic killer, but he has no style whatsoever. What the heck is that? Wow, your student, you know, bro, these kids with their phones, they're like, okay, which one is it? Who was it? You feel me? Who was it? You feel me? That is hilarious.
He was in the midst of his killing hobby back then. I had heard about a killer on the loose. My French girlfriend told me to be careful hitchhiking back then.
Wow.
I've often wondered if the murdered women and other men may have been buried in those woods we passed through slowly.
Probably.
I now wish I had gone to the police, and have since subsequently tried. He's in jail, and they're not interested. Maybe I could have helped stop more murders back then.
Maybe.
It's heavy on my soul, and since then, I felt a dark light in my body. Maybe the souls of the girls escaped with me, desperate to get out of the forest.
Man, that's crazy, bro.
This happened a few months ago, and I don't know why I agreed, but I decided to go with my friend Michael to a house party he was attending during our first year of high school. Even though I wasn't even invited, Michael was able to pull some strings, and I accepted the invitation.
House parties and all
Knowing
this
that I wouldn't be
foolishness.
able to drive, I made the choice to go with Michael. When we arrived at the home late at night, Michael told me to leave my phone in the car. He explained that maybe I could lose it, or someone I don't know could try and take it from me while I'm not looking.
Oh boy.
At first, I was confused. I simply nodded, and we got out of the car. I went with Michael into the home or backyard where the party was taking place. I glanced around the backyard and saw people engaging in various activities such as smoking, drinking, and possibly even doing drugs in small groups.
Oh, they were doing more
Michael
than that.
had encouraged me to go mingle and say hello to a few people.
They were doing more than just smoking and drinking in the backyard. I can tell you that. They were doing debauchery.
You got me.
For a few hours, I realized I had way too much to drink because my vision was completely foggy.
All sorts
After
of
getting
lust
closer
and
to the
sin,
house,
bro.
I leaned against the wall to support
Lord, where's-
myself. I noticed the time on my watch indicated that it was either midnight or 1 in the morning. I knew it was time to leave, so I set out to find
Yeah.
Michael, and despite my overwhelming need to
You better
collapse,
leave before it's
I
3
scanned
a.m.
the yard for him, but I was unable to locate him or see him. When I asked a few others if they'd seen Michael, they all said they had not. I decided to call Mike to find out where he was, so I reached inside my pocket to feel for my phone, but it wasn't there, and I cursed myself in the back of my mind because I realized that I had left my phone in Michael's car.
Wow.
It disappeared with him. I realized there was only one way to get home, which was walking, because I remembered my house wasn't too far from this house, but the night was chilly because it was fall. I thought about just asking someone else to take me home.
Exactly.
I didn't know anyone else that could help. So I stuck with my idea of walking home in the darkness by myself. I
What?
then got to the road.
Who does that? What type of horrible idea? Bro, you're an innocent, petite, weak female. And I don't mean like you're weak. I mean physically. And this is biologically true. We're stronger than y'all. Physically, you know what I'm saying? Have more testosterone than y'all. Why would you ever? I don't care how close your house is, bro. It can be 2 blocks. If you're not with someone, what's the point? Bro, nah. You're walking chilly to your house in the dark? Oh, get that. Yeah, you should have waited. You should have gotten that ride with whoever. Get an Uber at least. You know what I'm saying? It'll be $5. Like, what the heck?
And started stumbling down the street, and I knew I had too many drinks because I felt lightheaded and dizzy.
And
A few
you're
minutes later, I made it to the main area of the street and kept walking.
Oh boy.
I lazily started thinking about a bunch of different things, like why did Michael decide to leave me alone at the party? Or why I decided to listen to Michael's idiotic idea of leaving my phone in his car so I couldn't call him or anyone else.
That's crazy.
I started cursing myself for being so careless with my drinking and even getting drunk, knowing I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I stopped walking on the side of the road because I was
dangerous.
getting tired, and I crossed my arms over my chest tightly to keep myself warm. Then I remembered something I could do, which was hitchhiking, and I then held out my arm and stuck out my thumb, hoping someone else could see me.
This is crazy.
I watched as a couple cars drove past me. They wouldn't stop, and as minutes ticked by, I started feeling uneasy, thinking I would have to start walking again. It was past 1 in the morning.
You better
and there were
walk
a few
back
cars
to the
driving
party.
past me, but no one was stopping because they either didn't notice me or didn't care. I hesitated. I thought about walking home again, but I realized that, in my drunken state, it would be too daunting. I was still holding out my thumb when a gray truck pulled up and stopped in front of me, and I smiled as I stumbled towards the vehicle. The window rolled down, and an older-looking man with a beard asked me if I needed a ride.
Oh boy.
I told him yes, and then told him where my house was before getting into the truck. I'm grateful for the ride. As we started driving down the road, the man started trying to make small talk with me, asking what happened to me. However, I was too disoriented to have an actual conversation with him, and the only things I could manage to say were low mumbles or just murmurs and groans. As we turned the corner to my street away from the party, I started feeling uneasy. For some reason, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was strange about this man. Suddenly, we drove past my house, and I told the man that we had
GG's. Right there, bro. Right there, I'm popping the car door and I'm flinging out. If I hit a couple of trees along the way, it's better than me being in that car with that creepy old white man. Sorry, bro. I'm just describing what it mostly is, bro. A creepy old white man with a beard. But bruh, like, come on, man. You're saying that no one at the party could have gotten you an Uber, a taxi, nothing? He drove past your place. That's GG's. Now, who knows what's gonna happen in this situation?
just driven past it, and I felt my gut telling me to get out.
Yep.
But I couldn't, because I was too drunk to move. I was about to tell the man to let me out before we got too far away from my house.
Oh boy.
And suddenly the man turned to me, and I noticed he had a sinister look on his face. You know, you shouldn't be drunk while you're hitchhiking, because you'd make a very easy target, the man said, smirking darkly. The man reached over and started rubbing my leg. I didn't know what he was trying to do.
Wow.
I knew it probably wasn't anything good.
Wow.
Before he could do anything else to me, we both heard a loud siren behind the car, and then a flashing red and blue light flooded the night.
Thank God.
I realized it was the police, and I
God
jumped
came
for joy
through.
inside. The man panicked and stopped, unlocking
The Lord
the doors,
came through.
which allowed me to jump out of the car. I ran as fast as I could, and the police officer rushed over to me, and I told him the entire story about what happened to me. Unfortunately, nothing illegal happened per se at that point.
Wow.
The police officer told me that he was looking for someone in a gray truck who had apparently stolen something from a store.
Wow.
I'm not sure if it was the man who picked me up or someone else, but I was just glad the police officer stopped the car.
That's crazy.
Another cop gave me a ride home.
And I decided from there on that I wouldn't get so drunk that I couldn't think straight anymore.
What the heck was that voice?
I now know the importance of being responsible and staying aware of my surroundings, even when having a good time.
Don't have a good time doing that, bro. It's not worth your life.
I was still in college when this happened. I went to a big party school in upstate New York. I wasn't in a sorority, but I attended a lot of the frat parties still. I had a heavy drinking phase in college, unfortunately.
Man,
But I guess it's good that I got it out of my system.
Unfortunately.
There was an upcoming frat party that my friends Deanna and Kayla wanted to go to. I was not one to ever say no to a party unless I was already deathly hungover, and even then I'd sometimes be known to still go out. I was living in a house off campus with 3 other girls.
Oh, man.
We were not a sorority house or team house or anything like that, just 4 friends renting a house together. I believe it was a Kappa Sigma party that we were going to. The house was about 20 minutes away from campus. We pre-gamed pretty heavily at our house, and then we called an Uber, which we all split. On the Uber ride there, we pre-gamed some more, which was a recipe for disaster. By the time we showed up to the party, I was borderline blacked out. I just barely remember the layout of that house.
Bro, what are these females doing nowadays, bro? Like, you pre-gaming that much that you black out when you arrive to the party? What are y'all doing? This is what this generation's about? Y'all black out at the party? Y'all had too many, what are those, twisted teas? Too many jello shots? What the heck going on here? And trust me, because of this, you're gonna get taken advantage of throughout the night, bro. There's gonna be multiple weirdos trying to take advantage of you because you're literally blacked out.
I'd never been to a Kappa party besides that night. It's weird, I have short spans of memory from that night.
Wow.
I vaguely remember the outside, that there were a bunch of frat guys standing out front of the house. And then I remember the DJ in the living room and the 2 beer pong tables in the kitchen. I was later told that I played beer pong with some random frat guy and ended up talking to him in a corner for a big chunk of the night.
Wow.
But after that, nobody knows where I went. I couldn't even tell you the last thing I remember before waking up sleeping on the grass on the side of the road in a daze.
What? Whoa!
My head was throbbing. I had to still be somewhat intoxicated.
What the heck?
It was pitch black outside. I was laying by a bunch of trees, like a wooded area.
What?
Apart from the university, there wasn't much up there besides woods and the occasional little town. There were a couple light posts further down the road, so I wasn't just laying in complete darkness. I patted down my pockets looking for my phone, and I had a meltdown when I realized my pockets were empty. I was also missing my crossbody bag. I had absolutely nothing on me. I started to freak out. I couldn't even call for help, let alone check the time or where I was.
This is crazy.
I looked around the immediate area by where I was sleeping. Nothing.
That is what you call a nightmare. That right there is a nightmare, bro. You wake up in the middle of nowhere, lying on the grass near the road? Guys, I beg of you, seriously, for all the females out there, God did not make you to do something like this. You're wasting your potential. You're wasting your life. Really, seriously. Do you know how many smart, beautiful females I've seen, talked to, been with? Not like that, but been with, like, hang out with. But they do absolute stupidness. That's why it says in the Bible, beauty is vain, but a woman that fears the Lord shall be praised. If you fear God, if you fear the Lord, you will not do any of this nonsense. If you fear for your life, for God, your family, you would not do any of this crap right here. I promise you, you would not do any of this. You would say, hey, I'm blacked out drunk. Let me just stay at home. This is not worth my life. I don't want to, no, I'm good. Bro. Oh, man.
My white shirt was stained with dirt, but that was the least of my worries. I started walking down the road closer to the light posts. I was starting to realize there were no buildings in sight. I was on some completely random I leaned on the light pole for a few minutes, wondering what to do. I decided I'd wait for someone to pass by and ask for help. It took a long time though, at least 15 minutes, before I noticed headlights down the road. I stepped out onto the road, waving my arms and jumping, trying to ensure I got their attention. The car slowed to a stop on the side of the road. I approached the car, and the guy inside rolled down the window. Once he asked me if I was alright, I told him I was stranded without a phone and needed a ride home. He told me to get in, and I did, making sure to let him know how much I appreciated it. He, of course, asked me about my predicament, how I found myself stranded on the side of the road.
Oh.
I told him I was at a party, and the next thing I remembered was waking up on the side of the road. In hindsight, I should not have said any of that.
Yep.
I should have been as vague as possible, not let this guy know that I got completely trashed and was vulnerable. He asked why I didn't call for help, and I told him I lost my cell phone too. The guy looked at me like I was a moron. I looked back at
Bro, is it me or is this the guy who did it? Is it me or is this the guy who put her there and acting like, nah, bro.
him for a second, and this was the first time I really analyzed his features. He was like 35. He wasn't the best looking guy. He had a thin goatee and a big nose.
Irrelevant.
I gave him my address to put into his house. As he drove, he put the address in, and then I heard him say under his breath, "Okay, here we go." I asked how far away we were, and he said about 20 minutes. That sounded about right, since the frat house was about 20 minutes from our house. I thought things would go smoothly. I'd get dropped off at the house where Kayla and Deanna would be waiting for me with my belongings. But nothing can ever go that smoothly.
Yep.
The man spoke in a gentle voice basically the entire time. He was asking basic questions at first. His soft voice was almost, in a weird way, off-putting. Like, why was he talking in an almost whisper in the car?
Yeah.
We drove on and on for what seemed like over 20 minutes on the same road. I started to get concerned, and so I asked him how much further we had. He didn't respond right away, so I said, "Sir," and he went, "Hmm?" And I repeated my question. He said in his soft voice, "Not far." This wasn't right.
This is the guy who did it. He's an actor. He's an actor. Wow.
Our house is in town, yet we were still on the same back road with nothing but trees everywhere. I started noticing in my peripheral vision that he would look at me multiple times, like he'd move his whole head to stare at me for a few seconds and then look back at the road.
What the heck?
I was starting to feel sick.
Sir,
I asked
you
him
okay?
to put the right address
Keep
in,
your eyes on
and he
the
said
road.
yes. Then he said, "What color underwear are you wearing?"
Hey!
And on my knee, and started rubbing my knee.
Hey!
I
Whoa!
moved it away and told him,
Hey, yo!
Police! Help! Help! Police! Help!
What? What the frick? What is this sick behavior? You see what happens? She could have avoided all of this if she just stayed her butt at home. Now you have creepy old men ask you what type of color underwear you're wearing. This is crazy, man.
him in a desperate voice to please not hurt me. I just want to get home safe. He said, "Why would I hurt you?" After saying this, he pulled onto the grass on the side of the road and put the car in park.
Oh,
He was
heck
about
no.
to lean over towards me and do something, like put his arms around me, but I didn't let him. I opened the door and ran into the woods. Luckily, I was wearing my Air Force Ones, so I didn't have a hard time running in the woods. I ran only just enough to be out of sight from the car when I could no longer see its headlights. I heard the man for the first time raising his voice, and he yelled into the woods, "Where you at? I just want to lick your pussy." I
Whoa!
put my hands over my mouth, not only to muffle
Nasty.
my breathing, but because
Sick
of pure
man.
fear. I waited and waited until I heard a car door slam shut and the sound of a car speeding off. I waited a few more moments before walking back to the road, confirming he was gone. I felt truly helpless. I didn't want to run into that man again, but I also needed someone else to help me. I waited just at the edge of the woods for another car to come, and eventually one did. I saw the headlights approaching from afar, but I waited until I was sure that it was a different car before jumping out and waving my arms and yelling. The car came to a stop. It was another man, this guy a little older. I sat in the back seat this time.
You should have sat in the back seat the first time. Just like any taxi or Uber. Who sits at the front? You sit at the back. That's crazy, man. Unless if there's multiple people, you sit at the back.
I was so shaken up that I hardly spoke, apart from answering whatever questions about my predicament he asked. Thankfully, this man dropped me off at the house. It was like 4 a.m. at this point. My friends were still awake, waiting for me. They had my phone and my bag. They were contemplating calling the police if I didn't come back by morning. No one had any clue who I left with or how I ended up on the side of the road.
Friends.
The boy who I was with claimed he wasn't the one to leave with me.
Bro, your
In
friends
fact,
are
there's no
trash.
solid proof that I even left with anyone. But that leaves no explanation how I ended up sleeping on the side of the road.
Yeah.
I cut back heavily on the drinking after this night, and I never want to be in a situation again where I have to hitchhike.
Bruh, you better cut back completely. No more drinking for you. Bro, ladies, for all my ladies out there, bro, I hope you guys are understanding the situation y'all are in. This world is dangerous, man. Don't be thinking this world is all sweet, bro. This world's dangerous. She still doesn't know how she got on that side of the road sleeping. Oh, man. Who knows what happened to her while she was sleeping? She was already blacked out drunk. Who knows she took a drug, a roofie, and it was over. Ah, guys, yeah. Don't be hitchhiking. I promise you. Hitchhiking is not worth your life. Drinking, getting drunk, alcohol, being a drunkard, blacking out. It's not worth it. She said that she's cutting back. I want her to cut back from drinking completely. It's not worth it. Not worth your life, your relationship with God, your family, friends, nothing. Let's be honest. Stop acting like drinking, getting drunk is like all that, bro. It's not. You're fooling yourself if you think so. I'll catch you guys later on the next video, man. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there. Take care. Peace.
You win. Perfect.